I guess it starts right away. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Proactive AI-Driven GRC. We're happy to have you all here with us this afternoon. I've got Tom Elias here with us, the sales manager from Risk Cognizance, and he's going to talk to us today about the exciting ways that AI is starting to shape and drive GRC software and how that can be a proactive addition to your cybersecurity package and help you reduce costs and reduce time spent on compliance.
Well, good afternoon. Well, good afternoon to all, and appreciate this is, of course, in a wonderful series that I've talked to our leadership into doing it. I wanted them to do it every week, of course, but every couple of weeks, the excitement that's going on in the AI circles. We've heard a couple definitions and a couple solutions that are certainly out there. One is a large language model, AI, and the other is the AI solution in the GRC platforms. We're going to be focusing on the latter because certainly Risk Cognizance is a leader in this solution, but it also begins to quantify for the customers, for the many, many fine partners that are out there to really enhance the decision making. In every organization, large or small, there's one thing that's very, very consistent, and that's the IT teams are either overwhelmed, Fred, as we know, they're either overwhelmed or they're understaffed. And with that, the solutions need to be smarter. And that's why Risk Cognizance, with the leadership of Jeffrey Walker and our dev team, really allow enhanced decision making. They still have the same frameworks to be able to take care of controls, sub-controls that they need to be able to handle on the compliance side, but it enhances their ability to make good decisions. Automating the process. They're already working 60 and 80 hours in a given week, and they still now, the leadership of their company says, all right, we're going to add a framework. Now let's keep going. And by the way, we're not going to give you any more additional team members to go get that done. Well, again, the software, one with crosswalking with our fine solution, but it'll help automate the process. It'll give them those solutions in advance. The people, the decision makers are still in charge. They're still making, with wisdom, experience, the right decisions. But then they're working on the projects that are the higher return on investment. And everybody knows, whether you're in leadership or you're one of the worker bees, you want to work on projects that are giving you and your team the best return on investment that you can. And that's certainly true on the compliance side. When we look at the large models, large language models, and then the broader AI and GRC platforms, we're going to look at three basic categories of functionality, the data handling and the application scope. We may show those on a screen here in a moment, but I'll go through those together. The broader AI in the GRC platform, the functionality, it's a predictive analysis, allows it to be able to have that analysis in front of you to be able to have those solutions be done. It allows, if there's irregularities, if there's anomalies in it, it allows the detection to be seen and allows you to be able to then understand and see what those solutions are, what they should be, what the parameters are. If it's now outside of the range on where it should be, it'll flag it. Great solutions like Risk Cognizance will actually have a color code for our people. Green means your team is good and looks like you're going to have a good day. Yellow means you got to get going, and red means you're late for dinner because you got additional things that you got to be taking care of along those lines. So it allows that detection to be seen, and then of course it'll automate the workflow. Automating the workflow, allowing them, when the IT departments have 6 or 8 team members, not only is it hectic, but they've got to have it orderly. The process has got to be in, and so it automates the workflow. From functionality, we go, hello, Jeffrey. From functionality, we go to the data handling. The data handling in the AI GRC platform is the GRC solution and the Risk Cognizance solution. There's some amazing things on risk scoring, allowing to be able to score the risk as they see. It utilizes unstructured as well as structured data, compliance monitoring and the rules, and then the decision-making automation of it. Jeffrey, nice to see you, sir. How you doing?
A pleasure myself. Pleasure.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for joining. Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We were just going through the large language models, then making those comparisons on the broader AI, the GRC solutions, breaking down on the three then steps of that, sir. The functionality, then the data handling, then the application scope were the three things on which we wanted to identify along those lines. And with the data handling and the risk scoring, compliance monitoring, and decision automation allows the data handling to be handled in a very proactive way, where many times the large language models are certainly given reports, they're certainly delivering, but they're not anticipating. They're not leaning forward to those AI decision makers. And certainly with your experience, you've seen that in place.
Definitely from my standpoint, and what we have seen, we showcase my screen here. I'm kind of like to help explain the point in regards to the difference. So basically, the large language model really focus on helping you to generate data, and not so much focus on basically doing a use case based type of work and capacity. Can you guys see my screen?
Perfect. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Awesome. So as you can see, the large language model will kind of help you generate policies report if you provide the accurate data. However, for detection and actually being able to do multiple range of that include risk, prediction analysis, identify anomalies, and automate workflow, it's not the primary focus just of the large language module, but also integrate that into a life cycle with multiple agents. I know that you guys have heard about a lot, especially these days, about agentic systems and agents and AI agents and so
Yes.
forth. This is where the capability come into play. What it's doing is using some large of the capability of large language module to identify things, but and help them to associate the report, and using robotics to kind of help to drive the capabilities for automation. So it's using all the automation in line with AI to create one solution, but using multiple agents to actually be able to do that. So if you look, say, for instance, at any robotics, we can use a, like say, maybe you guys have heard about Optimus, which is Tesla robot, right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
You have the arm that operates separately, then communicated upwards. You have the legs that operate separately, and each of these things are agents. So the legs is operating with its own agent, and each leg kind of communicate with the other leg based on an agent capability. The same thing happened in the GRC platform when it comes to risk. So we look at your cloud environment, we use an agent to scan your cloud environment, and we use another agent to pull that data in, analyze the data from a risk possibility, and then also be able to populate that across your frameworks and across your overall compliance suite. So say, for instance, around your sub-controls, we can identify the risk, populate the predictive remediation plan and the predictive remediation control, and provide that to your team as an actionable plan.
And so that's across one dashboard.
Correct.
What a convenience factor. In fact, just this past week, McKinsey and both Boston Consulting came out and said that only 26% of all the AI projects at the enterprise level are providing the kind of return. And the number one problem they were saying is the item that Risk Cognizance focuses on, and that's the integration, having them all play together on the same dashboard, and have them all the modules that we have work together in those solutions. That could be an exciting step for customers.
Definitely. And what we have been hearing from our customers as well is the ability to reduce time overall with these automation, right? So when we look at MSPs, they have a lot of customers that they have to deal with today. With our multi-tenant and the capability to do most of these automation, say for instance, policy called policy linking, you have risk linking, and so forth. All of these things kind of reduce the effort from a overall compliance management perspective and automate the process all the way to auditing. So what we understand from our MSP and customers today is that what used to take them 2 to 3 months, they're still making the same amount, and it's taking them in some cases 1 to 2 months, right? So they are actually shaving off a full month and actually saving costs. And this is what we're hearing from also from our direct customer in regards to time frame as well, having these automation capability that also include AI to drive their day-to-day aspects.
So very exciting from the C-suite standpoint when they're talking about scalability. One is finding the right partners to be able to scale with, but then two, managing those additional projects. And just like you're saying, if the productivity of their 20 or 80 person IT department now is increased by 10, 20, 30, in some cases, you and I have seen 40 or 50% increase. What a jump in scalability for them to be able to handle the new business in a profitable way. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, definitely. And then one of the things that they point out as well is the ability to detect risk faster in the system. Instead of going through SIM and going through all these solutions, they have all these detection in one place around their cloud, around their attack surface, around their vendors, and around their overall vulnerability management, all in one place. So the security team all have all their need and also could assign tasks directly to the appropriate team to kind of manage and help them mitigate that risk as soon as possible, which also reduce the potential for breach, which today could cost anywhere from $300,000 to 350 million, right? Depends on the organization.
Speaking of that vendor management, are some CIOs and CISOs not sleeping well when Google announced that the Shiny Hunter attack just this past, I think, 3 or 4 days. You might correct me on that, but I think it was just this past week.
Correct.
Anything that integrated with what they call the Sales Loft or their Drift solution, and of course, risk cognizance. Not only do we have all the integrations, but again, we silo it to be able to protect all that data to further ensure our customers of security.
Correct. And I'm happy that you touched on that point, Tom. So as you can see, data handling is critical, right? Most of these other GRC are actually not using their own long-range module and their own AI system. They are actually pushing your data to application like OpenAI or to Google Gemini, right? Which you don't know what purpose that data is being used for. Today, we have our own AI capability built on the basis of Lambda, but we host and manage our data internally. So we are making key decisions on where your data is and have the possibility to how we manage your data. And if you ask for data removal, we have the capability to do that today. Most of those other tools that based on just using the large language module today can't do that.
So when the normal guy gets up at, like you and I do, at 4:30 in the morning and he pulls up the GPT, that has no filters. And of course, now risk cognizance, you've mentioned that when our customers have told us there's 3 or 4 filters. Is that not correct?
Yes, and that's where we're doing the data sanitization for all data included in our risk management solution. So basically today, if you run any data in our system, it's look at it from a security analyst perspective, and then it looks at it from a risk management perspective, a CISO perspective, and then also from an audit perspective to ensure that the data is as qualified as possible. Definitely, we still want a human to review it, but to make sure that it is as capable as possible or provide definite value for action.
Well, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, to be able to show the efficiency, to be able to speak the information technologies language, to be able to make it as user-friendly as we've seen, a wonderful feedback that we're getting from our customers, and it's just an exciting journey.
Definitely, and it's also what I'm understanding from especially the CISOs and the VCISOs is how fast they could make decisions, right? And help their clients go to audit or help their clients to compliance, especially when they have, like, say, for instance, our CMMC customers, right? They need to ramp up as soon as possible to maintain their current contracts and so forth. So they see our tool as the fast way to get there. They've looked at many other tools and came to us and make the decision to stay with us and utilize us. And we have found out that that's really where we're ramping up today, where most of our clients are coming to us for the SOC 2, the CMMC, and the ISO on a day-to-day basis. And it's because we are using the structure, data structured that are provided for our learning, for the client's learning, and mapping that data only to that client, and not using something like like an overall language model where the data is all over the place, but kind of customizing the data based on the data that the customer provide for their tenants only. Right, so that makes it learning based on the capability of the client requirements, and then driving that all the way to compliance to audit. But then from an application overall scope, that we're also including communication methodologies, like we have the built-in ticketing system that utilize AI, and driving that through instead of just pushing data to a large language model and hopefully that information comes back to the system. We're actually utilizing the information and the risk that are coming from the actual client's tenant, and really kind of making sure that we're identifying other relations to make predictions as well.
And that's on a proactive basis. So we're the human, as you just noted, is still the guy in charge, still the lady professional in charge, but we're giving them the breadcrumbs, if you will. We're giving them the direction on what they can see, and where those high risk are based on the quantitative facts. Now, I have a colleague who's handling some work in the Middle East, and so what happens when a customer has some different frameworks that they want to be able to deal with? Can risk cognizance handle situations along those lines too?
Definitely. So we do definitely have over 50 plus frameworks today, and we have the capability to ingest new frameworks as they come along. If we don't have the framework, usually takes anywhere from 1 to 2 days to get the framework in, unless it's a totally new framework that there's no data sets available for the framework yet.
Gotcha.
That definitely will take some time to get that final version from the publisher, right? But yeah, we are definitely capable of getting.
So I think it's called SAMA or SAMA. Is that something that the risk cognizance team can handle?
Definitely, SAMA is already in the system today. That's for the Emirates side of the world. So basically we have that built in already. We do have some clients on that side that are utilizing that type of framework.
Very, very, very exciting. That's incredible as those productivities are expanding, and and then the crosswalking is something that I've had customer actually jump out of the seat in this past couple of days on presenting to him, that he literally can get it done inside the 3 or 4 sentences on which our conversation is, 6 and 9 seconds. We're showing him how the new framework matched up to NIST, which he's currently using, and be able to allow him to be able to see the controls, the sub controls, and be able to see that advantage. Are customers flocking to that as well?
Yes, definitely. What customers see there is the ability, based on talking to clients, and the reason why it was built is that they're seeing that this saved them up to 3 months of supporting a new compliance, where they can move from one compliance to another compliance in a flash. Okay. Actually, by the time it takes for them to run report on other system, we are creating another compliance, bringing the risk from the other compliance proactively, and also building the policies that are relevant to that compliance over to their new compliance, and doing continuous mapping, right? Well, and also right there and then they have a dashboard, they have a risk register, so they can provide that to their team. They have their full program report for the new compliance within the average of 1 to 2 minutes. They would be able to publish all of this and provide their management with a quick view of what they looks like for the new compliance and report.
Well, certainly the attack surface is proactively customers, being able to answer the C-suite's question when they say, "Are we safe?" Or "How safe are we?" they're able to answer that question. What makes the risk solution, the risk cognizant solution, what makes that unique? Tell me about these things that I think some of the brochures talk about some patented information. Tell me how that's unique and how it benefits our customers, please. Thank you.
So definitely from a unique standpoint, from our attack surface perspective, is that we're taking a different approach. And everyone said you're utilizing AI, but we're taking a different approach to not only be able to run the attack surface, but how we utilize that data throughout the landscape of the client cybersecurity management by populating risk registers and so forth, and also populating reports that give them actionable item and also actionable remediation plan directly from the system, but also be able to populate this inside of their risk register, inside of their framework that they're complying with, so they can manage risk according to the sub controls or controls that are needed. But one of the other things that we do, we also showcase what we call a trend line, which most of these tools that are not doing each time our attack surface runs. We're utilizing a trend line to show where the value is in the tool, and also the ability to dive deeper based on risk and actually see the data that was run across the system, so you could understand what a threat actor would have done to get the same information from a proof of concept perspective.
So like any organization, they've got the 6 to 10 to maybe 30% of the vendors that they trust like their left arm. But maybe the new ones are skipped over a step, and now we're validating what they're saying, and that protects that customer and protects that end user and the MSP and their reputation.
Definitely. So attack surface, well, what we have seen the use cases for, and at least our clients use it for, is also to monitor their vendor, monitor their internal system, and also monitor their supplier from a risk perspective, right? As you know, today, a lot of breaches happen through third party or fourth party. So currently, monitoring those is pretty critical. And all framework are having this requirement now about third party risk management. So basically, we have built a tool to also support that initiative and also support our third party risk management system as well, which is another module that is also built in with the attack surface inside.
So what happens if an IT department is got ambitions of wanting to handle all 12 or 14 of the modules, but we both know bandwidth and of course their budgeting from their C-suite's not going to give them all that latitude. Do they have to just wait, or are there solutions on which that we can accommodate that customer?
No, we're definitely modular. I would say so. Definitely, we can position whatever module that they want today based on budget. I would assume that we are the most budget friendly based on that we have most of our solution built into one solution based on what customer has told us before. We have customer move to us and replace over 5 tools and save roughly over 1,000% based on what they're paying for our solution and what they were paying for those 5 tools. So today we do have the GRC platform with all the automation. We have the attack surface from a high-end capability standpoint. We also have the cloud scanner, which is your cloud posture scanner. We have a built-in ticketing system built into the tool. We have project management built into the tool as well, and all those capabilities. So that is the critical part of it. And kind of like just going back and looking at the business value that we present from overall remediation perspective when it comes to breach, then basically you no longer have to be reactive. You could actually be proactive with our solution, which is the key and what we're driving towards today.
Yeah, which gives them a level of confidence. And again, as you've been at the C-suite level, it gives the C-suite the confidence in the IT department that they're proactively going after problem areas. They know where their strength is. They know where with continuous monitoring, they always know where they are and where their future can be. It's an exciting path. You got to have the tools to be able to fight the right battle.
Definitely. And it's better to be able to forecast what your landscape look like from a compromise perspective than be compromised, right? So and able to detect any type of fraud as you go through the process and be able to manage your compliance regulation in one system, easy to identify, easy to manage from a programmatic standpoint. And I think the tool squall is one of the things that we are hearing a lot, that a lot of our CISO are saying that, hey, we just want one tool that give us all the information in one place. We can print a report and give it to management. Even if we didn't remember a meeting, we can go and print a report directly from the tool or print out a dashboard and run directly to our meeting and be able to fulfill that meeting, right? And I think that's what they're looking for, instead of they have to post 12 report from 12 different systems and try to jerry rig them together. We are actually making that easy for them in all one platform and in all one report.
And so to one of our MSP professionals who's got, a 20 to 50 fine customers, that he could see that this be a solution. Certainly, I see white labeling out there a lot. And of course, we protect their brand. We build their brand with them on the white labeling, which is part of it. Of course, multi-tenant, keeping all the data protected with our FedRAMP requirements and special codes to be able to allow us to be able to have that data be protected. There's really no limit on how fast an MSP may want to. Maybe there's a legacy system that's been out there and looked better 5 or 6 years ago, but now they want to roll to the risk cognizance. There's really nothing in the solution that slows them down from doing it quickly versus in a slow, deliberate way. Is that accurate?
That would be accurate.
Fantastic. It's very exciting. Before you came on, I was trying to convince everyone that every week we should have these wonderful webinars, because AI is moving so fast. And of course, the compromise was was every 2 weeks. And so to everyone, I do appreciate the time. There might be a couple questions or two. Please put on your agenda 2 weeks from today. We got September 30th is the next one. We'll catch the opportunity and continue to talk about the newest opportunities with the risk cognizant solution and give you the latest on AI.
We do have a couple of questions here,
Thank
Thomas. We've got, I know MSPs in the Caribbean and Jamaica. Does RC support GRC solutions and frameworks south of the border and in Central and South America?
Absolutely, yes. We'll get great representation in the Caribbean, in Central and South America and Jamaica communities. And yes, we absolutely support those solutions and frameworks. So it's an exciting opportunity, exciting growth area for our team. But thank you for that fine question, and our fine representative will follow up with you directly. Thank you. Next question.
How trustworthy is the AI element part of the platform? What safeguarding is in place?
It's a great question. I'll defer to Jeffrey. Go ahead, sir.
Definitely. As we mentioned before, is kind of like our 4-agent validation that we're using as our checkpoints. Instead of just having it spit out something, we're actually also validating that information against the frameworks, since we have the frameworks built in. So not only using the data set that is available from what is provided, but also using the data set in alignment with the framework and also the training that happened to the platform, right? So we're using a kind of like data set rule-based to kind of validate using agents. So multiple AI agents are checking for different things, as mentioned before, where we have the system analysis, kind of like take the first draft, the risk manager to kind of take a review of that draft, which is a different agent. And then also we have the CISO who take a look at that as well. And then we have an auditor take a look at that. So all of these agents kind of like doing that validation check, a Q&A to make sure that the information that is provided is accurate. And so that's something that we're doing today. And to make sure that data reside in our system in regards to accuracy, we're making sure that we own the data, we host the data for you, and make sure that the data is accurate and validated against our system.
That's exciting. And to follow up with the Caribbean question, certainly in Europe, there's different frameworks, different demands, Jeffrey. One of our MSPs has asked that question. How do we handle the framework that are specific to the European marketplace Do we handle that with the same speed and professionalism that Salma is, or something else? If you can expand on that, that would be great. And then we'll follow up and close on that, sir. Go ahead.
Definitely. So we have we have most of the European frameworks today, including NIST, DORA, GDPR, and many others, even in the even for Germany for car companies and so forth. And definitely we can have data reside on that side of the fence as well. So today we're capable of not only managing the European frameworks, but also any frameworks that from the Caribbean as well that needs that it may be needed that is not from the Europe or from a standardization like NIST, ISO, or SOC. We can definitely work with them, even on customized framework directly for the organization. We did that for a bank in Barbados, where we kind of like build their compliance based on what their requirements are, where they got to comply with PCI and a few other local geographical elements. So we can
fantastic,
also
fantastic. And I said
solutions.
only one last, but another one squeezed in. And so we'll certainly respond to everyone. The data being able to be stored, does that apply not just to North America and in Central America, of course, but we can take care of our friends in Europe and the Netherlands, can we not?
Definitely. So today we use AWS for hosting our data solutions, and we can host data in different zones based on data residency.
Excellent. Frederick, I appreciate your monitoring and keeping the time down. Jeffrey and I will start talking. It'll be all the way till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I appreciate you being there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Jeffrey.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for joining us, and we hope that you'll join us again on September 30th for our next webinar. Please feel free to visit us at www.riskcognizance.com for all your GRC needs. We look forward to seeing and servicing you all very soon. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.